Let's just dive right in. Welcome to a slightly different kind of explainer today. We're actually hitting the brakes a bit, slowing down our usual rapid-fire pace, and leaning into a deeply focused micro-explainer. Sometimes the absolute biggest, most mind-blowing insights don't come from massive data sets or 100-page research papers. Nope, sometimes they come from the quiet gravity of a single foundational concept. Today, we're going to completely meditate on an immensely powerful phrase, Quranic hikmet. We're going to unpack the incredible weight behind these words and explore exactly why these specific concepts fundamentally altered the course of human history and human thought.
Just sit with that for a second. When a text is this exceptionally brief and foundational, it almost acts like a historical anchor. Stripping away all the surrounding noise really forces us to confront the core message in its absolute purest form. Qur'ani hikmet. Literally every single syllable there carries just extraordinary historical and philosophical weight. It asks us to pause, and it demands our complete attention before we even try to unpack its layered meaning. And early scholars did exactly this. They stripped away all the distractions just to hone in on these precise concepts. By treating these couple of words with such deep reverence and intensive focus, they basically established the absolute bedrock for massive intellectual and societal shifts that would echo for centuries.
So, let's break this down. It really helps to mentally split the phrase into its two distinct linguistic pillars. This kind of deliberate deconstruction lets us appreciate each foundational piece on its own terms before we see how they interact to shape societies. First up, Qur'ani. This instantly establishes the source and the framework. It roots us in a very specific historical and divine text, setting a clear boundary for the type of knowledge we're actually talking about. Then, we've got this intriguing counterpart, hikmet, standing entirely on its own. It represents this vast, universally sought-after human ideal. But man, the true magic happens in their synergy. It was this exact combination, reading a foundational text and demanding its practical, ethical application, that literally sparked unprecedented intellectual revolutions all across the globe.
The absolutely crucial point here is grounding our exploration by formally defining hikmet as wisdom. Doing that turns a somewhat abstract linguistic component into a concrete, universally understood concept. But, and this is super important, wisdom isn't just raw data or memorizing a bunch of facts. Real wisdom implies applied knowledge. It's deep understanding, good judgment, and the historical accumulation of lived truth. This specific brand of wisdom wasn't just about reciting verses, It was an actionable catalyst. Think about it. Early thinkers and leaders used this applied knowledge to pioneer completely new forms of governments. They drove revolutionary scientific discoveries and built incredibly advanced ethical frameworks during periods like the Islamic Golden Age. It was literally the transformation of text into action that actually changed the world.
Now, bringing those two pillars back together into a single, unified concept, Qur'ani hikmah, or Quranic wisdom, gives the complete source phrase this undeniable philosophical weight. It's a specific, highly potent brand of wisdom derived from a very specific foundational source. Fusing them like this creates a whole framework for understanding how ideas actually transcend time. Qur'ani hikmah became this living, dynamic source of wisdom that actively guided empires, heavily influenced modern legal codes, and shaped entire cultures over hundreds of years. Honestly, this proves exactly why these verses changed history, because they were systematically treated as actionable, world-building wisdom, not just static historical artifacts sitting on a shelf somewhere.
To wrap up this meditative analysis, I want to leave you with a lingering thought. How do we reflect on this wisdom? It's kind of the ultimate question, right? We've isolated the text, defined its parts, and recognized exactly how Qur'ani hikmet was applied to quite literally change the course of human history. But the real work continues today. What does it actually mean to take a concept this historically profound and apply it to our modern lives? How does recognizing the historical weight of such wisdom change the way we approach learning and ethics right now? I really want you to ponder the true depth and modern application of this incredible wisdom. Thanks so much for slowing down and exploring this with me today. See you on the next explainer.